Okay, we are being live streamed.
Hi, everyone. I'm Karine Carpino. With me today is Lori Williams and Terry Jones. Morning, ladies.
Good morning.
And we are going to be exploring ways to create paper with coffee staining it today. So this month, we're all about making collages with structure and meaning and messages, and they may be subtle, they may be overt. But we're going to start with coffee staining paper. Now, I've seen a lot of people stain paper with a tray and lots of water and the coffee. And I decided I wanted to try to figure out something that wasn't quite as a mess because I have a small space to work in. So today I'm going to explore various options with you, and Terry and Laura are going to create along with me. So, anything to add, ladies, before I take the camera down?
No, let's
I
do it.
Are you live? Because I can't find you.
Yeah,
Because it,
it is.
okay, so I don't know why mine's not working. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to take my camera down and let's get started. Okay, so my light is really bright, so it might be wiping some of this out. But so these are a couple of papers that I did yesterday. And this one, I used a variety of papers to try to figure out what was going to come out decent. And this one is a sketchbook paper and a stencil. And then I tried some layering over a stencil, and this is a lightweight rice paper. So we'll try some of that today. And wow, that light is really wiping this out. So it's a very light one. So I tried tea bag paper. You can see I've been busy trying to figure this out. Tea bag paper and I've got some copy paper that had writing on it, um, medical exam paper, book pages that I got some interesting effects on. And that's about it with the papers. I didn't have any wet strength tissue paper left except for a tiny piece, and it actually worked really well. So I'm going to use gloves today. Things that I have, I've got my coffee. Now I use 3 tablespoons of coffee, of instant coffee in a cup of water, and then I just put it in a spray bottle. So I'm going to be wetting my paper with the spray bottle. I'm going to use some stencils today. So I've got a pile of stencils next to me. Just get rid of these papers. Then I'm going to try to use, I've got some wallpaper tape or wallboard tape. I've got a piece of shelf liner. I've got some lace that we're going to use to make imprints. I have a piece of needle point plastic. I've got some rubber bands and some bottle caps. And I also have a ink blower. I'm going to try maybe dropping some and blowing it with the ink. We can also maybe use some coffee crystals here. I also have some coarse kosher salt. And let's just see what we can create. So I am going to start by putting some gloves on just because I don't want my hands to be coffee stained. And by the way, ladies, I was concerned about this being that if it was going to move with the matte medium or not. And after it dried, I did test a piece with some matte medium and the pattern didn't move.
Okay. So
Okay.
the stain stained.
Hmm.
So the stain stained.
So the stain from the coffee actually stains the paper and won't move. However, if we're going to add, I have some distress spray stains, and these do move.
Right.
And
So
so we'd have to seal the paper if we use these before
and
we
what
put it in collage.
yeah, one of the quick ways I seal the paper, Corrine, is I
Yes.
just put a little bit of matte medium down on a gel plate,
Gel plate, right.
and then I just put the paper on and it seals the paper. So I've done that before with my distress paints.
Well, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I don't have a spray bottle for mine, so I'm gonna have to improvise for that.
maybe just use the brush.
Yeah, that's what I brought a brush, so
Yeah. So I have some medical exam paper. I've got some of the sketchbook paper. I've got some tea bag paper, some old book pages. My Grimm's Fairy Tales old book. I don't know where I got that from, but I've got some lightweight rice paper and I have some copy paper. So I'm going to start with a piece of copy paper. And let's just start with a stencil. It's a little more conventional way to do things. So any stencil will do. And I'm working small just because we're kind of experimenting today.
Right.
So I'm going to start with my lace stencil.
So hi Adele and hi Janet. They're both here today.
Oh, nice. Hello, ladies.
Yay,
Glad
hello.
you join us. And I'm also going to, what is that, tea bag paper? I think I'm going to grab a piece of, I'm looking for a piece of lightweight, lightweight.
Like the calligraphy paper.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for, and I have
That's what I got. Yeah.
that lightweight rice paper. Because I'm going to be able to take 2 prints from this, just like we do on the gel plate.
Right.
And so I think that's it. And I'm going to make sure I have this shiny side down when I take the top print. So I'm just going to take my coffee and now Terry, yours may come out different because you've got the silicone pad underneath.
Well, I do also have a piece of um paper towel underneath the paper. So it will so I've got both.
It's gonna soak up a little bit. And then I'm gonna take my first print by, and I think you can spray as much as you want depending on how dark you want it to be. Now, hopefully the alcohol ink that's on this stencil does not come off.
Ah,
but my first one, I'm just gonna really lightly, because I don't want to touch that paper underneath, but I'm gonna get the stain from the stencil. I'm using this stencil because it has some wider areas on the stencil itself.
that was one of the questions I was going to have.
I have done it with a skinny stencil too, but I thought this would be easier to just kind of demo with. So I'm just gonna lightly rub my finger over this to make contact. And I'm just gonna lift it up.
Have a lot there.
Just move this up so you can see. So
Oh, and what I did, I made that mistake you were talking about, Corrine. I did not put the shiny side down, so mine spread a lot more.
Okay, but that's still pretty.
It is. It's very pretty, but I just want to point out what happens when you make an error.
Right. Okay. Yours is pretty too, Lori. I like that. What a great stencil.
Yeah, it's a great stencil.
So
this was the part because I applied with a brush. It didn't do so great, but I feel like I come back over it and do some texture and stuff.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Okay, thanks.
I like it. So that's my first one. And I do have, I'm going to just move this out of the way. I do have a place where I have a craft mat that I can lay those on to dry. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. And I've got this beautiful piece of.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you guys.
That's what I got too. Yeah.
So the copy paper works really well.
Yes.
The stain stays pretty much where you put it. It doesn't seep too badly underneath the stencil. Soaks up pretty well. So that's a nice, easy, inexpensive paper to be able to use.
Okay.
And any of those patterns would be very pretty in a piece of, um,
Collage.
thank
Collage.
you. It's the senior moment collage.
I've had lots of senior moments recently.
I'm usually the one being corrected, so I'm proud of myself today.
Well, you're the least senior of us all, so.
That's
So
right.
then I don't have an excuse.
Oh, no.
So now I'm gonna try a different stencil on a book page, because I want to see how it's gonna work on a book page. So, and this is already a little tan because the book's old. I don't know where I got this old book of Grimm's fairy tales. But I am gonna put this on. And try not to get it on myself.
I can't believe I don't have any book pages.
I'm gonna put another one over the top and lightly do this, kind of do the same thing, but this paper on this particular book is not as absorbent as the copy paper. So I may not get as much of an impression. So the reason I was interested in this is, sometimes I want like a walnut stain and I don't have any. So I was like, well, I wonder if I use coffee. Of course, I could buy the stain, but I want to try different things. All right, so that actually made kind of an interesting impression in
Impression
here.
on it, yeah. I like
Yeah.
that.
I'm trying to move my light a little bit so that you can see better as I.
Oh, for sure, I had book pages here, but I guess I don't. Oh, well.
All right, so I do like that, and I would use that in a piece of collage. And this is really soaking, so I'm going to dry this just a little bit, and hopefully let me know, ladies, hopefully the sound cuts out as I use the dryer. Can you
I
hear
don't
that?
hear you. No, I don't hear you.
Yaha.
So now you're drying to keep a more perfect.
Yeah, see what happened if I could keep a more perfect design.
Okay, that was my question. So
So let's see what happens. All right, so you can see, and it could be because I used the dryer. I didn't get much on the bottom. It moved, and I think it's probably because I used the dryer or because I used so much coffee. That it
yeah, you
moved.
have a hint of it, but
Yeah,
not.
I have a hint of it, but I don't have a lot of it. So I'm just gonna
Well, and a curiosity question, which I will try next myself. If you want to make something more distinct, because that's a very fine line one you used.
yes.
I'm wondering if I can make do a light one, dry it, and then do a lighter one. So I'm not sure
And then
whether
do darker over it.
yes.
All right, well, let's try that because I have some that are done. So I put a piece of medical exam paper over this and just kind of, you can see the design came through. That's interesting from where the stencil was. And now I do have some really fine, you can
Oh,
see.
that is very nice.
So I actually had to pick up some of it by running a piece of medical exam paper over it.
Ah.
And see, it picked up where the stencil had been laying down. I was able to pick that up and end up with this interesting paper. All right, so Terry's question is, what if we take a piece of paper we've already stained?
Well, that's what I'm trying right now.
Stain over it. So let me find one too. And I was looking for.
Now, does mine cut out or do you hear mine?
I can't hear yours either.
Okay, good.
Isn't that wonderful?
It is wonderful.
So here's a book page that I've done before. And let's try a totally different stencil on it.
So this one I did twice.
Same
get it-
stencil?
Same stencil, and I dried it with the stencil on it. And then I sprayed it again and dried it with, and so it's much more, do you see how much more distinct it is?
Yes.
And that was on copy paper though, which is pretty distinct as it is. I should probably try it on another kind, but that's very pretty.
That is very pretty. I like that.
So
I-
now I'm curious, because I'm always curious about if we put another pattern on top of it with
Yeah.
coffee. I got another pattern.
So I'm gonna try a piece of tea bag paper. And I'm gonna try a totally different stencil and see what happens. So this is like one of my favorite little stencils. And I'm gonna spray this, and I think I'm gonna try to dry it, Terry, without moving the stencil.
Yes, that's what I did.
And I'm holding on to the edge of the stencil. And then I'm going to do another color.
This time I'm going to put this is a piece of mulberry paper on top. And I'm going to see if I can get what happens with this mulberry paper. And then I'm going to dry the underneath. So this one is a first level of the mulberry paper, which is a really pretty pattern. I think this
That's
is one of,
mulberry paper?
yeah, that's mulberry paper.
That's very pretty.
It's very pretty, but I got it all over my hands. And then I'm going to dry it.
Try to take a little bit of this up from the top. I put more on it, so let's see how this one comes out. Hopefully I didn't move that stencil under it. So that's a pretty piece of paper, actually. And this one, I'm going to dry a little bit more.
I'm curious how. So this one I did two stencils.
That's
I
very
did
cool.
one over the other, and I think it's as dark as I want it to get. I don't really want anything much darker than that. But I don't think it was my best choice of an over stencil. But I adore this piece of paper. This is just so much fun. That one's just beautiful.
Okay, so I have the pattern, but what I'm noticing is the tea bag paper is not as absorbent, believe it or not.
Yeah, I had that problem with what were we doing? Oh, I had that problem with the tea bag paper when we were dipping it. It was
Yeah,
like it ran too much.
Yeah, it is not as absorbent. And this is
Yeah.
from the top. I ran it over the top, so I'm happy with that. So I didn't have a lot. I wanted to try it again today, but I did not have a lot of luck with tea bag paper yesterday in maintaining any kind of design.
Right. I think the wet strength tissue worked a lot better for me. I think this is wet strength tissue.
And I didn't have any wet strength tissue left. I just ordered it. It is like out of stock in the big sheets on Amazon. So got some from Joggles. I'm waiting for it to come in.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try the wet strength tissue now with this
medical exam paper, and I have a piece of rice paper underneath it because my puppy pad's getting dirty. And I think I'm going to try something different. So I'm going to try some, while you do that, I'm going to try some lace.
Okay.
And see what kind of a pattern we can get with some lace.
One of the interesting problems I have it's not a problem, it's an interesting thing is that I am so used to the stencil sticking to the gel plate that I think that sometimes I have a problem with places where it's not sticking down, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
So again, I'm going to try now. I think this is medical exam paper I'm using right now. Take off the top. See what happens with that.
I'm using the medical exam paper to kind of push this down and take off the top.
That's what we're doing the same thing. Okay.
Laura, are you working with a stencil?
Yes, I'm working with a stencil.
So is Lori. That's such cool stencils.
These three, I just got 4 new stencils that I really like. Now, though, I'm afraid that this, well, it was very fine to start with. So it it did a fairly good job, except for where I could see where it wasn't perfectly it wasn't laying totally flat. And I'm not.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
So, right, a couple of questions actually. How come I don't hear your blowers?
I have no idea.
What?
I mean, if I turn, do you guys hear my blower?
No.
No.
No, that's so wild.
So Zoom must have made a setting where that you don't hear the background.
Background noise. Okay, so
Oh,
I'm looking
okay.
at this, and this piece of lace is much better. So I got this
yeah.
is on medical exam paper. So this piece of lace, I got a really pretty pattern. This other one, I got the edges, but it kind of seeped underneath in the middle. But I did get some pretty edges. So kind of tells me that something a little bit heavier is going to give me a better.
Yeah, that might be. Adele says, you guys have the most amazing stencils. I said, yes, we get tax deductions for our stencils.
I've been collecting for a lot of years though.
Me too.
Okay. Yeah, I've been
I had to be
collecting.
very careful yesterday when I went on Joggles to buy paper to bypass looking at stencils. Otherwise, I would have been.
Oh my God. Elizabeth St. Hilaire has some new ones that I'm just like, I just signed up for that big course. It's $249, but it's going to be a year-long course. And one of the things that's in the course is Elizabeth St. Hilaire is doing collage and cold wax. So
yes, I did see that. I did not.
I signed it up. I signed up. So.
Oh, that sounds fun, Terry.
Spent the money, and so I'm very excited about that. But I don't think I'm going to even be able to see that class until summertime, because she's doing the class she's not doing it on her patronage. She's doing it in Ireland. I do not have the money to sign up for the class in Ireland.
So I'm going to try a piece of sketchbook paper, the Yasutomo sketchbook paper.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to try the wallpaper, it's wallboard, sheetrock tape.
The dots or
it's the squares. The dots, I only have a tiny little piece, and I think it's full of cold wax.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you've got this.
I'm going to try this little piece of shelf liner.
Okay.
Not sure which side should go down. It's got some other stuff on it. And I'll do it on the same paper. Let's just practice, see what happens. And I'm going to use the needlepoint plastic.
Oh, okay. So you can do that.
Let's just see. And I'm using this. This paper may or may not work well. We'll see.
So, Corrine, when you mixed up yours, you said you mixed like 3 tablespoons of the instant coffee with
a cup of water. First, I had 2 tablespoons, and it wasn't dark enough for me.
Right. Well, see, that's interesting because like I put 3 in 1 cup, and mine is just compared to you guys have really dark. Mine isn't.
Well, and I had really
My
old, I
lighting
mean,
too.
mine was so old because it was from their class 2 years ago that it was kind of very solid. So I didn't really know if I put 3 tablespoons in.
Okay.
I just put I chopped off pieces of it. And okay, well, I'm
Maybe
gonna,
your coffee's stronger.
yes, my cup. Well, and I have an espresso. So I bought so this is actually espresso.
That's what
And
it
I
is.
may pull a lot since Lori's using her. I might try to
I
use
did.
a brush with the espresso
Yeah,
because
I
I
think
have a
this is
feel.
espresso. It just says intenso bold granulated. I
Right,
think I was looking to, I think I just needed a tablespoon of coffee for a recipe, and that's what I want.
right.
Okay, so I can see right now that, again, the mesh on this was too fine to actually, really, it kind of just bled under it. But with the wallpaper, excuse me, with the shelf liner on this
Uh-huh.
paper, I got a nice design. So that's with the shelf liner. Let's see, I'm still getting washed out by light here. Shelf liner. And I did get a nice design with the needlepoint plastic.
Okay,
Oh, we've
well.
got some nice, really nice dark ones.
Well, this is that espresso I said I had, but I think it's just, I probably should put it in a spray bottle because
So,
when I first start putting it down, and that's the other thing I'm finding, Lori, when I first start putting it down, too much comes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that,
That's what happened to me. It's happening to me too.
right, yeah. So I didn't know whether we needed a spray bottle with water or not, Corrine.
mine,
And we
mine
are at
are
11:27, so we
right.
are,
So the last one I'm going to try here, I think, is I have a variety of sizes of rubber bands.
oh, that sounds like a great idea
I
too.
didn't try this yesterday, so I'm just going to experiment right on camera. It'll either work or it won't. And
So that was,
this is on copy paper. So I went and raided the office supplies. So I'll get them all to touch.
what am I going to do for my final piece? I have a little half piece here. I really want to see what happens. I'm just going to spritz my whole piece here, like with this. And what I'm going to do is I've got a little bit of the coffee crystals, I think.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to try to sprinkle just a few coffee crystals on. Whoa, see what I mean? They're very old.
So yeah, you know what, Terry, when I did that, here's my paper. I tried that yesterday. You see how if they don't absorb all the way, they stay shiny?
Yes, I had that problem too last time I did it. And these are so old that I don't think they're working.
Although I did like the paper, I thought maybe I would actually turn it over and use the back side.
So I
Because I,
think mine are just really old. They're not doing, I've done it before and it did that, Corrine, and I really liked it. But so um
and
it's endless what you can do with it. I mean, I can take this, this is the espresso, and I can take espresso now and just kind of also make a design
yep,
using a,
boy, your coffee is thick.
well, this is that espresso coffee.
Yes, but I mean that the liquid itself is thick.
Yes, it's very thick. It's very thick. I could
That
paint
could
with
be
it.
interesting just to let some sit out and evaporate and get thicker, like you have some that's thick.
Yeah,
Differently.
I like that. It just, we'll see what happens with it in the end. My whole place smells like a coffee shop.
So does mine.
Yeah.
All
Mine too.
right. So I'm going to take these off and let's see.
Oh, those are pretty.
This is interesting.
Oh, I like
Yeah,
that.
I really like that. Did you use anything to take the color off the top of them, or did you?
No, I left it
No, you
alone.
just left it alone.
Um,
Wow.
So I took mine and it ended up bleeding underneath. And so I had some just spray,
Distress?
yeah, and just sprayed it lightly and then dabbed it with a paper towel so that didn't spread. And I think that came out pretty cool.
That came out very cool. I like
Very
that
cool.
distress.
And then I have this really cool stuff like a long time ago in like a mystery bag that I got from, I think I got it from Ranger.
Ranger,
I
yeah.
ordered it from their website. You know how sometimes they have the little mystery bags.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
You don't know what you're gonna get, but it just shows up.
Right.
I got this Dina Wakely Media mica spray.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've got a little bit of mica spray too.
And
Let me
it's
see.
pretty cool. We'll spray a little bit of that on there.
right. So I really like that. I would actually use that in color.
Oh, I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, looks like rocks or something.
Yeah, that one, I like the way that came out, Corinne, for
Yeah.
sure.
I think all of our papers really came. This one's still very wet. The one that I tried with the
Yeah,
brush,
that'll be really cool.
but it'll be really cool. But we need a lot of different papers. I mean, there I've got this one. I've
Yeah,
got
I got a lot over here drying.
yeah,
me
I got a
too.
lot that are still drying on very thin.
Yeah, I've got
So I think it was a success. The least success, I did not like putting the print on top of the print. I probably, because it was so pretty beforehand, I kind of got mad at myself for that. But, and I even like this very runny look because you get this, after it dries, you see you do have some design within the design. It's not just a blob.
Yep.
right, and that's
I don't
what I
know
got
if you
with
can,
my
you can see that.
tea bag paper too. It wasn't just a blob.
Right.
It does have white lines from the stencil through. It's got dark areas. It's definitely
Yeah.
usable. Um, definitely usable.
Okay.
So yeah, so I hope that I think we're at time.
Yeah.
And Janet says your rubber band looks like clouds to her.
Ah, okay, cool. It
Uh,
could be. It could
It
be.
could be. It could be just about anything.
Right.
So we have
So
great
okay.
imaginations here.
So I hope everybody got some different ideas that aren't like super messy to create stained papers with lots of different opportunities for design using instant coffee and water. So
I love it. Thanks, Corinne.
thank you,
Thank you, Corinne.
Terry. And if you enjoyed today's YouTube session, join us on exploremixedmedia.com. Our members have access to one full-length project a month that's pre-recorded, one special member Zoom session with Lori and Terry and myself to work on a project. And join us back here next Friday for another edition of Explore Mixed Media.
Thank you, girls. See you next week.
Thank you. See you next week.
Bye.